Punisher parts 1 through 6. Let me tell you something.
Let me tell you something! Let me tell you something! Wait.
Pain is weakness leaving the body, and Punisher part 1 through 6 will rid you of a lot of weakness. If you're a standard account enjoyer such as myself, then completing the Punisher task line is an important achievement. At the end of Pun 6, it grants the secure container Epsilon, which pretty much allows you to put a tank battery in it. Those of us that have a standard account know that we use the Alpha container, which is just a mere 2x2. So completing the Punisher task line practically doubles your secure pouch capabilities. It'll make the rest of the wipe better because you have more utility in your secure container, bringing in heals, keys, injector cases, and so forth. So in this video, your Uncle Skrong is going to do a concise breakdown of Punisher 1 through 6. I've practically got it down to a science. I usually get it done within 1 or 2 days. So I'm going to cover everything you need to know. Essential strategies, what gear you need to collect, what to do off spawn, what gear you need to bring into the raid. So you can make each task a lot easier. That way you can move on to other tasks and enjoy the rest of the wipe. Now, this video was done for patch 16 in the winter weather. So everything is up to date through January 2025. And if you're looking for a specific task or part of the video, I've timestamped everything below. So if you need to, you can skip ahead to what you want to watch, or you could just have a refresher. That way you're ready for it next time. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get into it. Prior preparations prevent piss poor performances. So before you can even access the Punisher task line, there's some prerequisite tasks that you must complete. The first one starts you off on ground zero, which is shooting cans. That's where you find the grenade launcher and the machine gun. Then you move on to debut, which is eliminating 5 scavs and handing in the 2 shotguns. Then you move on to luxurious life, which is finding the wine bottle on ground zero. That leads you to background check, which is the pocket watch on customs, everybody's favorite. After that, you'll need to complete delivery from the past, which requires the Tarkov director's office key. Then you'll move on to BP depot, which is marking the tanker trucks on customs. After that, you go to bad rap evidence, which brings you back to customs. Then you need to make sure you have your 60 round mags for ice cream cones. Next up will be shaking up the teller. And by the time you have made it to Punisher Part 1, you need to be level 17 to start the quest line, and you should be Punisher level 2 at this point. Once again, everything's timestamped down below. If you're looking for a certain part of the task line, you can skip towards it. So bam, now you're ready to take on Punisher Part 1. One thing I highly recommend you to do, and it can make Punisher a lot easy for you, is to have all your collection items ready to go before you even start the Punisher task series. A lot of these items are really easy to find on scavs, but if you don't get them before the task, you will get Tarkov. And nothing's worse than finishing the kills and being stuck on the collection part of the task, because in Tarkov, when you need an item, you can't find it. So you want to find it before you need it. And that's the best advice I can give for that. So going over these as follows: for Punisher Part 2, you're going to need to find 7 lower half masks in raid, which means you need to get out of the raid with them. Now, these can be found on scavs plentifully in patch 16. I had all 7 of these within the first 2 days of wipe, so really easy to find those. For Punisher Part 4, you're going to need to hand over 5 A-bar knives. Now, these are the ones with the brown butt. The Damascus ones with the black will not work. Again, these spawn on scavs, so make sure you're pulling them out of your scav raids and make sure you're looting the scavs you kill. These are really easy to find, but they do have to be found in raid. For Punisher Part 5, you have to find 2 PM pistols. Once again, these spawn on scavs, and they're pretty easy to find this wipe. I think I found 3 of them in the first couple days of wipe. So make sure you're looting your scavs and looking for this PM pistol. You also need to hand over a found in raid AK-74 and a found in raid M4A1. Now, for Punisher Part 4, you will receive an M4A1, and you are able to take the attachments off of it because it is the SOP mod. So you can take the nice attachments off of that and then hand it in. Make sure you're keeping this reward. That way when you get to Punisher Part 5, you can hand it in. The AK-74 is also a reward for the Punisher task line series, and if for some reason you've gotten rid of it, you are able to craft it inside the workbench. So you need to hand in this Kalashnikov AK-74, and it will be found in raid if you crafted it in the hideout. Last but not least, Punisher Part 6, you need to hand in any bear dog tags 7 and any USEC dog tags 7. You should have these by the time you get to Punisher Part 6 with all the PMCs that you have to kill. These don't need to be found in raid, so make sure you're putting your dog tags in your secure container. That way you have these to hand in at the end of the task line. Like I said, it's nothing worse than being done with the kills, but being stuck on the collection tasks. That could really jam you up. So once again, prior preparations prevent piss poor performances. Make sure you got your collection items before you even start the task line. But if you haven't, really easy to find on scavs. Now, let's move on to Punisher Part 1. Here we are, baby. Punisher Part 1. Now, Punisher 1 through 3, fairly easy, but people can get hung up on it. My friends get hung up on it, so we're going to go in depth here. That way you don't get hung up on it and you can do it pretty easily. Punisher Part 1. Eliminate scavs while using an AKM series weapon on shoreline. 15 of them. This task grants you some rubles, the ability to buy an SV98 from Prapper level 3. You get a Zabralo, and you can also purchase PSGZH, which is some nice ammo to have. Okay, gear choice for this task. It has to be an AKM. If you have GP coins, ref has a lovely AKM for you to use that already has a scope on it and is already pretty kitted out with a flashlight. But if you just want something budget or you don't have GP coins, you can get an AKM off Prepper for 43,000 rubles or a barter for 3 Tashankas. I recommend putting a PDC on it. That way you can add a scope. I also recommend the 25mm mount and then the Palad, which is nice and cheap, but still allows you to range scavs, especially the sniper scavs. You don't want to have a red dot because nothing worse than getting head-eyed by the sniper scavs before you get to kill them. So kit up with an AKM, something cheap, and let's get into it. Now, pulling up a map of Shoreline. A lot of people have a hard time finding scavs on this map, and I really don't know why. So this is exactly what I do. You pretty much have 2 guaranteed scav spawns. You have a sniper scav spawn right here, and you have a sniper scav spawn right here. Most of these spawns on Shoreline are either on the east or the west side of the map. So let's break down exactly what you do off spawn each time. Now, you can pair this with tasks, but one thing I've learned when doing the Punisher series is being a jack of all trades makes you a master of none. Now, the way I do this efficiently is I avoid the heavy PvP areas, which is the health resort outside of the weather station and off spawn right over here by Abandoned Village in this area right here. So if you find yourself spawning over here at Road to Customs, the route I like to take is right along here and up so that I can kill the sniper scavs that spawn right outside a power station. After I eliminate any scavs in this area, I'll continue through and get an eye into Cottage. That way I can see if any scavs have spawned there, Sanitar, any of his guards, so I can get a quick kill off them. Then I'll continue up through the bus terminal. I'll get an eye on this area to see if there's any scavs right here. Not going inside Health Resort and getting killed by a goon. I'll loop around the back. I'll check to see if the scavs have spawned on the sniper location here. I'll kill them, and then I'll quickly head to extract. This nets me anywhere between 7 to 10 scavs in that raid. Now, if you find yourself spawning on this side of the map, in particular this spawn right here, one thing I will do is I will check to see if there's any spawns right here, and then I will quickly run across. I will dispatch these 2 sniper scavs, and I'll continue along the backside and push into military camp to see if any scavs have spawned here. Also being aware that there could be PMCs looting this area that spawned by Road to Customs. If not, I'll just quickly head to the exfil and get out. If you find yourself spawning down here in Village, what I'll do is I'll quickly check this spawn for PMC activity. Then I'll head to Cottages to eliminate any scavs there. I'll head on over to Power Station to eliminate those sniper scav spawns. And the rotation from the first side continues up through Bus Terminal to check for scav spawns here and around the helicopter. Then around the back to dispatch the sniper scavs that have spawned here if they haven't been killed already. Then either back to this exfil, over to the V exfil, or over to Road to Customs. Now, not very hard. You should be able to handle this task pretty easily. In 2 or 3 raids, you should be done and on to the next one. Next up, we move on to Punisher Part 2. Eliminate scavs while using a suppressed weapon on reserve. You're going to need 12 of them. Find lower half masks in raid. 7. If you didn't watch the first part of the video, these are the lower half masks that are found on scavs. They have to be found in raid, which means that you have to get out of raid with them. I would suggest going into factory. That way you can get in quick and get out quick. Either take the half mask off yourself or loot the dead scavs on the ground and then quickly exfil. Eliminate scavs while using a suppressed weapon on reserve. This can obviously be any weapon as long as it has a suppressor on it. So I'll give you a couple gear recommendations. Now, budget kit, you could just grab one of these Ketters off of Prapper for 36K. But what I like to use is this Kalashnikov AKS-74UB. What I'll do is I'll buy this, and then I'll go ahead and slap that 25mm mount on it and the Palad 4x32, which is nice and cheap, but gives you the ability to range scavs. Now, it's kind of crucial that you do this early wipe because scavs don't spawn too frequently on reserve. It seems like a ghost town. I mean, they do, but early on in the wipe, you get a lot of player scavs that spawn in extremely early. What I like to do if you spawn in the southeastern part of the map is first off, look for any scavs that come out of the armored train spawn, and also head underneath to the bunker underground to see if any scavs have spawned down there. Be careful because there can be a boss spawn down here, so try to just kill his guards and get out. The next thing I'll do is I'll head through the train yard over into the White Knight and Black Knight area. You get a lot of scavs that'll spawn right here and a lot of scavs that'll spawn right here. What you could do is you can kind of window or roof these buildings, killing scavs right here, or you could sit right here as you see in the video footage that I'm about to show in a second and kill scavs right here. Now, if you spawn on the opposite side of the map, what I like to do is I like to push down into the pawn buildings and kill any scavs I can around here, which sometimes you'll find them here and sometimes you'll find them here. And after killing one, you want to hope that you get hoarded. If you don't get hoarded by other scavs after spawning in these areas, I will push through these buildings into the into the Black Knight again, and I'll start looking for spawns in these areas and in these areas. Again, I'm not focused on PvP at all, and the good thing about reserves is most players head towards the bunkers, so you don't really have to worry about PvP too much, especially if you do a delayed spawn push where you kind of just hang out for a little while, let everybody filter down into the bunker, and let the scavs spawn so you can get your kills and get done with this. Again, my recommendation would be to sit on these buildings right here and kill these scavs that spawn here, 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 and here. Should be fairly easy, guys. It shouldn't take you that long to get this done. And now we can move on to Punisher 3. Here we are for Punisher Part 3, probably the easiest task that you're going to do in the Punisher series. Eliminating scavs while using an AKS-74U on customs, 25 out of 25. You'll be able to craft PPGS when you finish this task, so that'll really come in handy for you putting out some more damage. Like I said, this one's pretty easy. I usually get away with doing this in one raid, and what they're doing here is they're lubing you up for Punisher Part 4. But nonetheless, we'll go over some gear recommendations for this. Make sure you are using this 74U platform. You can get these off of Prapper. They are nice and cheap at 24,000 rubles. I recommend slapping the Pilgrim on them. That way you can put your scope of choice. For range, I recommend either a Spectre sight, or if you're on a budget, you can use the 25mm rings and then pair it with the PLAD. So it won't cost you that much money to kit up for this. Now, pulling up a map of customs. The goal with this task is to survive the first couple minutes of the raid and get to somewhere where there are heavy scav spawns. The best areas for doing this are in this area right here. Military checkpoint will have a ton of scav spawns in it. You can actually sit in this building right here and kill them here and here, and as they come out of here. Or you can hang out in this general area right here and get hoarded by scavs that are spawning here and here and back here. The heavy PvP areas being here and inside of dorms, so you want to stay clear of these areas. And you'll also get some scav spawns in this general area right here, and in this general area right here at RUAF roadblock. So if you're spawning here, quickly check these for the scav spawns, head across, check here for the scav spawns. Try to stay away from this PvP area and head towards one of these areas right here. If you spawn in this area right here, you can head down to the heavily trafficked scav spawn spots. If you spawn here, you're already there. If you spawn in old gas, you're already there. So this is a simple task. As you can see in the video footage, I generally get this task done within 1 to 2 raids at the most. It's fairly common to be able to kill 25 scavs on customs if you're able to avoid PvP. And now that you completed the 3 easy tasks on Punisher, it's time to feel the pain. It's time to embrace the pain. Punisher Part 4 is where a lot of players get slowed down, especially if they're not comfortable with PvP. When I first started doing the Punisher task series, Punisher Part 4 used to take me a week. Like, no lie, I would literally just try to get like 1 or 2 kills a night, and it was painful. One cool thing about completing Punisher Part 4, Punisher Part 5, Punisher Part 6 is it's going to make you a lot more confident as a PvPer. Trust me. So the task requires you to eliminate 10 scavs while using a 12 gauge shotgun on Lighthouse, and then you must eliminate PMC operatives while wearing a balaclava and a scav vest on Lighthouse. This is also the part of the task where you're going to hand in those 5 found in raid A-bar knives. So if you didn't watch the beginning part of the video, you know you should have been collecting those. You need 5 of them. They spawn plentifully on scavs. My recommendation, if you haven't found them already, is to just scav factory, take them off dead bodies, or take them off yourself so you can get in and get out quickly. So you must wear a balaclava for this. The white and green ones work fine. You can either get these off of the flea market or you can purchase them off of Ragman, and then you have to have a scav vest on. Now you can wear this scav vest, or you can wear the security vest, depending on where you're at in the wipe. If you can't get them off the flea market, sometimes you can find them spawned on the fence, and they're pretty cheap. So this security vest right here will work perfectly fine. That or the scav vest. You can also barter for a scav vest on Jaeger 1, which requires the slickers, and sometimes that's a lot cheaper because the slickers bar costs 13,000, whereas if you look up the scav vest on the flea, it's sitting at 19,000. So a cheaper way to get the scav vest is to buy the slickers and barter for them. I think you're allowed 10 every reset. So that's a pretty ninja thing to do if you're hurting for rubles. Another tip, do not pair this with Shooterborn. I know it's nice to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, but if you rat this and try to snipe your way through it, it's going to take you a lot longer. My goal is to just get it done as quick as possible because I'm trying to get to that Epsilon case. So for gear recommendations, if you don't like ref, if you got ref level 1, this OP SKS was incredible. I used this for almost the whole thing. It got me through almost the whole part of Pun 4 this wipe. It's silenced, it's got good ammo, and it comes with the 35 round mag, and that's, you know, really clutch for not having to reload while you're shooting those long range shots. It also fires fast, so if you get up close, you still have a chance. If you're looking for another budget kit that works well, again, I use this AKS-74UB and I actually have the build for it as my Pun 4 build, using the 25mm ring mounts, the PLAD, and then putting some decent ammo in it. That way you're capable of dropping players. Cool thing about doing this early wipe, and it's kind of important to do it early wipe, is a lot of people are going to be doing shooterborn, and basically they come in, just timmied out, no armor on with a Mosin. As the wipe progresses, you're going to get a lot more chatted out players with big sniper rifles and armor, people looting, and it becomes a lot more difficult, but it's still manageable. So what we're going to do to get this done as fast as possible is we are going to rush spawns. So I'm going to give you an in-depth guide on the spawns, where to look, and how to kill players off spawns. That way you can do this as fast as possible and as easy as possible and get more confident with your PvP. Okay, here's a map of Shoreline. Our goal to get this done as fast as possible is to rush spawns. We don't want to camp. We don't want to hunt players down on this map. We want to kill them as fast as possible while they're not expecting us. So I'm going to break down these spawns into what I call money spawns and what I call bust spawns. The money spawns are going to give you your best chance at killing a player right off rip and having the best advantage for that. And the bust spawns are going to give you your best advantage for getting killed right off rip. So your money spawns on Shoreline are this spawn right here, right outside of the water treatment plant where the rogues are, on the opposite side of cabins. Your next money spawn is going to be right here. Another money spawn is this one at docks right here. And then another money spawn right outside of the south chalet right there. All right, your bust spawns. These are the areas if you spawn, you might as well kiss your ass goodbye, which is right here. Literally the worst spawn in the map. It's the worst spawn in the map right here. Right here, the south end road. If you spawn at these right here, you're probably going to get killed. And this one right here. Now, there are also some intermediate spawns that can be money spawns or can be bust spawns. They're somewhere in between. Right here, these spawns right here, and then these two right here, and this one right here. If you spawn in any of these locations, and we're going to go over them in depth with video footage, but if you spawn in any of these locations right here, you need to know it right off the bat, and you need to be pushing certain areas. If you spawn in these black areas right here, there are certain things you could do, but generally you're just going to want to, if you don't mind losing the kit, challenge some of these other spawns, or you just want to turn it into a loot run and get out to reset. So if you're hurting for money, just try to get out and reset and come back in and try to get a better spawn. The yellow spawns, which are the intermediate spawns, we'll show you how to work those in a second. Now quickly, I'll give you some pathing off the money spawns. That way you know what you're doing, and they'll hop into videos to show each one in depth. So if you spawn in this money spawn right up here, what you're trying to do is you're trying to catch this guy, because he only has two ways he can go. He can either, you know, brave these mines and rogues, or he could push around this side right here. So what you want to do off this spawn is go ahead and go up on this hill and watch for him to come around. At least two of my kills this wipe for Punisher Part 4 came off this spawn right here. If you notice that nobody spawned over here, then you can continue down into the cabins and try to loop up around here to catch people off guard and to challenge the people that are holding the rocks right here. For the dockside spawn, as soon as you spawn in, you're going to go up and perch yourself on this hill right here, and you're going to try to catch these people as they run along if they're doing the task right here, or this person right here coming along if they're doing the task right here. This spawn right here is a great spawn because not only can you perch up and watch anybody that's spawned here or anybody that's coming down with range, but you can also watch resort for anybody that's pushing in from these spawns right here. So you can catch a lot of kills right there in this area and out towards the village. This spawn right here, which is one of my absolute favorites, as soon as you spawn right here, you go down and overlook everybody spawning here, try to catch kills as they run across or as they try to clear across the street. And then you're also watching over here for these spawns as they come up the hill or come around anybody pushing in towards the helicopter. Now, if you spawn in any of these intermediate spawns, let's use this one for an example. What I like to do here is I like to push up into these bushes right here, come up over onto this ridge and try to kill anybody that's coming this way. But unfortunately, a lot of times you get killed by this guy looking down or these guys who have pushed up here and are sniping. So make sure you stay in concealment. That way you can shoot anybody that's coming around in these areas. This one, a lot of times I'll push up here and I'll try to challenge this guy, but usually, you know, you get killed. Anybody camp in this area over here. This spawn right here, you could try to push in and do the same thing as that spawn right there. And these spawns right here, obviously push through this side and try to challenge anybody up here or just get out and reset. So let's hop to in-game footage and go over each spawn in depth. All right, so here we are in game and we are going to go over money spawn number 1. This is the spawn that's in between Southern Road, in between Chalet and Mountain Pass, and I'll show you what it looks like right now. It looks exactly like this when you spawn in. Now, if you remember from the guide, the first thing we are going to do is run right here to these rocks. And scoping in, we are waiting for the people that spawned here and here to start pushing, and we're also waiting for anybody that spawned here to come around. If we don't see anybody spawning in these areas, what we do is we push over here, okay, just gliding, and we start to look over here. We're starting to catch those people that came from Southern Road landslide that chose this back path up here towards the helicopter crash, or maybe this guy, you know, trying to sneak around. So that's exactly how you move off this spawn. I'll show you some in-game footage right now of where I was able to nab one kill over here on a guy that lands Southern Road. And then I noticed a guy over here who was sniping with the bolt action. So I quickly pushed that way to kill him.
Does not appear so. No. Yeah, it's like 2 areas.
Yep. Fucking.
Yes. No, you can't.
Okay, quickly, intermediate spawn right here. I'll show you the pathing for this, where we go up and we try to catch these guys off this spawn right here. As you'll notice, the boathouses are down there. We don't want to run that way because there's a spawn. What we want to do is we want to get up onto these rocks. We could either push this way or along the side of this ridge towards the beach. We want to move right along here. And what I like to do is I like to sit up on these rocks right here, aiming down here and down here, catching anybody that's pushing through. Make sure you're not up here just standing, sitting around. Try to make yourself so you're a little bit less visible. That way you can just get the easy kills. I'll show you some in-game footage right now of where I've caught a few people right here and right over here. Okay, dock spawn, another money spawn. It will look like this right here. You'll have the 2 boathouses. What you want to do is immediately off spawn, run up here, and push as fast as you can over into this area. And right here is where we make our money. You'll be able to catch anybody pushing along down this shoreline right here. And a lot of times, if you prone down, they won't be able to see you. You'll have easy shots. And there actually is a task right here to plant something. So be able to kill those people easily. Now, if nobody's rushing here off spawn, you continue to that middle money spawn, push up here, or you can go up onto these rocks and get advantage to see if you can see any other players at Chalet that you'll be able to push. Blue Chalet money spawn, which is this spawn right here. What we're gonna do is we're instantly gonna run out here and look at the vantage point. Now you have 2 options from this spawn. You can look down to see if you can catch this guy right here or this guy right here pushing across. And you can also catch this guy coming this way. The majority of the time, you're gonna catch these guys and these guys coming up the rocky path. So instantly take a vantage point, look for that guy spawning down there. Look for anybody pushing down into here through the house. You kill guys in this area right here. And then make sure you have headphones on, because if you push over to this side of the map, you can catch people coming through right here. And you can perch up on these rocks and catch anybody coming across bridge, catch the guy that spawned down here. And you can get a good eye on people over here that have spawned in. But just be careful because you can get sniped from up here. So make sure you're being careful. This is a great place to catch PMCs running up and off guard. Okay, the last money spawn, which is this one right here. Another absolutely great one to catch PMCs off guard. What'll happen is as soon as you spawn, you run right over here and take this rock right here and wait for the PMCs that spawn on this opposite side to push through. These guys only have, 2 real options. They can either, brave the mine and the rogues, or they're forced to funnel in through here where you'll be waiting on them. If you catch a duo that doesn't know spawns, they will quickly run through here and come down, exposing themselves. Now you have the advantage here. It's really hard to get killed in this situation when a person's full body is exposed and you're up in here in the trees in cover and concealment. 2 of my kills came from this location. I've easily killed duos in this spot. Unfortunately, I wasn't recording, so I can't show it to you. But this is an absolutely great spot to catch people right off spawn. Because as you look, it's really hard to notice somebody up there. And it's really hard to win that fight, especially when you're running here and somebody starts shooting at you. You have to find out where they are. And it could take time. By that time, you're already dead. So there you have it, guys. There's your spawn guide for Lighthouse Punisher Part 4. If you spawn in any of those other spawns, just chalk it up to a loot run. Or if you're not in a bad spot with rubles and you don't mind losing a kit, you can hunt PvP in some of those areas. Hopefully I've made Punisher 4 as painless as possible, because we still have 2 more part of the task series to go. Punisher Part 5 and Punisher Part 6. So let's continue. Punisher Part 5. A little bit more freedom of expression with this one. As you can see that the main kill task is eliminate PMC operatives while wearing a pack of armor and a 6B47 helmet. So you can use any gun you want and go to any map you want as long as you're using the specified item. You'll also see in the task that we're handing over that AK-47 and the Colt M4A1 assault rifle. Both have to be found in raid, as well as the Makarov PM pistols that also have to be found in raid. These are the PM pistols right here. If you didn't watch the beginning of the video, they spawn plentifully on scavs. So again, get in factory, find these things, get out. The reward for Punisher Part 4 is the Colt M4A1. It is the SOP mod. You can take the sight off, the foregrip, and as long as the gun stays found in raid, you can hand that in and take the attachments off of it and kit it onto another M4. So that's really easy. Make sure you don't get rid of this unless you have another found in 4M raid waiting to hand in for this task. If not, you can easily craft this AK-47 in the hideout. At workbench level 1, grabbing the stuff you need for it off the flea market. So easy, which leads us with the kill tasks. Now, a little bit more subjective. This is, up to you. The way I do it the fastest is through factory. I throw a P.A.K.A. on. You can get the 6B47 from Prapper, and you can get the P.A.K.A. from Ragman. They're both pretty cheap. Load up whatever guns you want and hop into factory. I'll go through a quick PvP tutorial on factory because maybe you're not as good at it as I am. It's one of my favorite maps, and I enjoy the PvP there, and I can usually get this done in a couple raids because you're able to get in, get out, and there's a lot of people PvPing. You'll also run into a lot of guys that are just naked mosening or in there doing pistol kills, so it's easy to get in there and kill them because they're not wearing any armor generally. Here's a map of factory. All the spawns are generally on the outside area of the map, so you have time to get ready for the PvP. You're either going to spawn here in gate 0, in the middle, over here by the med tents, over here by gate 3, or down in this hallway right now. I'll show you some excellent spots in game and some paths off spawn so you can maximize just killing people off rip and getting out. Okay, so let's go over the spawns, the pathing, and then I'll show you videos of in-game of where I'm able to do this. The first spawn being gate 1. As you can see, gate 1 right here, this is where you'll spawn. These doors will be closed, so you'll have to open them. What I like to do is I like to come out, and I like to quickly jump while having a look. This is a lane down here that you have to watch. There's spawns down there. So when I come out this door, I'll have a look. And if there's somebody there, I'll peek. If not, I'll continue pressing over here because you got to spawn here as well. So as you come across here, you could pre-nade this. So as you come across here, you have an option to pre-nade this as you're listening for spawns over here or over here. But what I like to do is swing this, have a look. If there's nothing there, I'll push out and I'll try to catch anybody that had looped around and spawned in down here. If not, I'll head up here and I'll try to get angles on any of these guys over here. So that's that spawn right there. The next spawn is gate 3, which is the exfil spawn, which is in here. So coming out like this, you shouldn't be bothered. What I'll do is I'll just run right over here. And as you'll see in the videos, this is an excellent spot. You just sit, hang out, make sure you close that door, and wait for people to either come through up here, wait for people to run in through here, or wait for people to path in through in here. And you can just kind of sit there. You got a nice little heady here where you can shoot people and kind of get some peeks in without being seen. I got a few of my kills here. Easy peasy. On this side of the map, you got the gate 5 spawn. You got the med tent spawn. And then you got this spawn over here at gate 0. Generally, what I try to do out of any of these spawns is basically just rush the others. If I'm spawning gate 0, I'm constantly pushing over here. I'm watching up on this second story or the third story right here for peekers, anybody that's going to try to run across. And then I'm push up and I'm trying to get angles on the guys that are spawning over here. Same thing as if I was spawning over here. Coming out, getting angles on people over here. We're getting angles on people over here. Anybody crossing, running across up these rafters. And then for the med tent spawn, I generally play the right side. As I come out, I'll head to the right. You should get a lot of people that will rush this off spawn. And you're able to challenge those guys right here. You're also able to head up this building right here and get a look onto the opposite side to hit these people that have spawned inside gate 1. So Factory is a nice, small, condensed PvP map. You shouldn't have trouble getting your kills here. Nice and easy, especially against unarmed players on pistol runs or using Mosins. And again, here's video examples of me doing this.
But he's just a TV. He's not a TTV. I'm done with that. I got my 3 flash drives.
Punisher Part 6. You made it. This is the last task standing in between you and the Epsilon case, or the rest of the tasks you want to get done as part of your wipe. Now, this isn't a hard one, but it's an expensive one. You have to eliminate PMC operatives while using an SVD rifle, and it can't be done on Factory. So no easy way out. You also have to hand over any bear dog tags, 7 of them, and any USEC dog tags, 7 of them. Great part about this, obviously, is the fact that they don't have to be found in raid. You should have these by now with all the people you've been killing, but if you don't, luckily, you can steal other people's tags. So while you're scabbing, make sure you're checking to see if the dead PMCs have tags on them, because you could take them and get out. So by this point, you should have Prepper level 3. I just did Chemical Part 4, so I got knocked back. But at Prepper level 3, you can buy an SVDS. If not, you can get them on the flea market. Sometimes they go from anywhere from 73 grand to 93 grand. You're allowed to buy 5 from Prepper each reset. And the way I like to kit it out is right here, thrown on the XRS DRG. That way we can add a vertical foregrip and any kind of flashlight we might want to use. And I don't cheap out here. I like to use the B13V and the PS320. I really like that sight. Again, you can use any build you want, but this is the way I build it. I don't worry about a suppressor because I don't care that I'm being loud. I'm looking for PvP. And my favorite map to do this is on Shoreline. It takes me about maybe 4 or 5 raids to get this done if I'm getting good spawns. So I'll show you some in-game footage and I'll give you a spawn guide so that you can do this as fast as possible if you want to do it the way I do it. Again, you can go to any map, but if you want to do it as fast as possible and you want the detailed guide on it, I love to do it on Shoreline. So let's hop in. Okay, back to our map of Shoreline. If we remember from Punisher Part 1, where we did this task to eliminate scabs, we were avoiding these highly trafficked PvP areas. Well, this time we're not. This time, this is exactly where we are heading on the map. If you spawn on the east side of the map, some of my favorite spawns are right here, and right here. Usually when I spawn Road to Customs, I'll either hit Radio Tower or I'll push along this right side up into Military Camp and try to kill anybody that's pushing in from these areas right here. If you spawn Radio Tower, you do exactly that. You spawn Radio Tower and you sit here, and with the PSO scope, you should be able to see anybody spawning in these areas, and it should be able to range them really quickly off spawn. This spawn right here, you're gonna rush Radio Tower right off the bat, and this spawn here, you're gonna push onto these hills and try to kill anybody that spawns in these areas right here. Now, going on to the opposite side of the map, this is one of my favorite spawns right on the outside of Path to Lighthouse, because what you can do is push right up onto these rocks and kill any players either moving in like this or moving across like that. It works every time. I got great footage, so I'll show you in a second. This spawn right here is unfortunately hard because you're gonna have this guy trying to take this fight right here, and it's hard to kill him. Even though you can win this fight, I got 2 of my kills from doing that. It's a hard one. You kind of got to get lucky to win that one. For these spawns right here, generally I'll push the cottage areas and I'll try to catch anybody that's going down here to gas station looting down here in Lighthouse, coming from down here, because there's a lot of perch angles you can get up. You can take height and kill the people that are doing those things. I do not go to the health resort. Notice I do not go to the health resort. You don't really need to, unless you want to get up close and personal with the SVDS, which I don't really recommend unless you've built it for ergo and you have a 1 to 3 times scope on it. So let's hop into some video footage on how I easily get Pun 6 done on Shoreline.
Oh yeah, Eddie. Okay. Out of 10, I need 4 more. You're the dirty. It sucked. On Shoreline? Yeah, I'm on that one as well. I swear to I just got killed by a scav. I was hidden in a I can't do this. These scavs are unreal. You did not just voice me.
With Ryan's luck, that shit would work. After they already lost.
So that brings the Punisher 1 through 6 task series guide to an end. I gave you an in-depth way on how to get it done. I hope you're feeling confident in your PvP game now. Hopefully it was less punishing as possible. Listen, if you found value in this video, or if you think that I forgot something, please feel free to leave it in the comments below. Hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe so you can stay tuned for future videos. It also helps me out with the algorithm. Listen, if you're new to Tarkov and you're struggling, I got a video that will help you adjust to the learning curve. Or if you just want to see some footage of me looting some ref hideout keys, I got a video for that right here. See you on the next one.